Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name's Dave Alexander. I have the pleasure and honor of serving as president this year. And we've sort of switched it up a little bit. Name of the song? Yeah, what year? 77. Whoa, close. Man, he nearly nailed that. Who did it? Yeah, I know that, but who's the artist? George Benson, 1976, but I didn't know this until this morning. Breezin' was composed by Bobby Warnock in 1970 and was first recorded by a Hungarian jazz guitarist in 1971, but that jazz instrumental is one of the top songs in 1976. Today's program will be The Big Reed Lakeshore, I Cheerfully Refuse. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, reflection by Jamie Hecker, and then at the end, recite the four-way test at the end of our meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jamie?
This week, we have finally been able to embrace the changing of seasons and welcome autumn, which is a favorite of so many. I hope you have enjoyed the past few days. They have been our perfect fall days. The gray and rainy days may be here very shortly. While the quick change can give us a bit of seasonal whiplash, it is also a time to remember to slow down, embrace uncertainty, and know that all we can be sure of is change. American poet Robert Frost gives us words to think on around this. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaf's a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes down to day, nothing gold can stay.
Very nice. Thanks, Jamie. Please take your seats, continue your lunch, networking, and mingling. We will be back shortly.
So Big Reed Lakeshore season is upon us. You guys know that every fall, Muskegon County joins Allegan County and Ottawa County for this big community-wide read. That is a partnership with libraries and nonprofits and for-profits and schools. The vision of Big Read is to foster a culture where reading matters and where reading together can create change. So you've got the Big Read, you've got its sibling partners, the Middle Read, the Little Read, and the Mini Read for the smallest readers. But all of these, this kind of initiative, really focuses on the set of common books and uses these books to encourage people of all ages to read and to discuss and to experience through events and programs based on the topics and the themes of the Big Read. So last year alone, we engaged over 20,000 readers across the Lakeshore region. This year's books, we've got I Cheerfully Refuse by Leif Enger, an author who will be coming to Muskegon on November 13th. A Wish in the Dark, Christina Soon-Tornvat, who is actually Thai-American. She's going to be coming to Muskegon too, not until March, and it will be a school-based. And then we've got Journey. So they're very distinct novels, or books, I should say. I Cheerfully Refuse is kind of this dystopian novel, a cautionary tale set in the not-so-distant American future, also set on the Great Lakes, which is kind of interesting. This one is set in Thailand. It's kind of a middle-grade fantasy adventure. And this is a wordless picture book, beautifully illustrated. Really excited for how it's being used in schools. So, like I said, an unusual pairing, but all kind of connected through themes. And if there was one word that kind of culminated and described kind of the spirit of all three of these books, it would be the word resistance. So each of the characters in these three books, the protagonist kind of is not okay with the world as it is and goes on this journey to search for more. And along the way, the protagonists kind of meet up against systems that seek to kind of thwart their progress, but they, through hope and creativity and resistance and sometimes defiance, find a way through and carve new paths towards the future. So some of the questions that these books, all three of them, answer, or at least ask, are, what does it mean to be free? Who holds the power to shape the world? And how can we use our own voices, experience, stories, and imagination to challenge the world that is and to create the world that may be in the future? Anybody asking some of those questions today as we experience the world? So as we were planning for the Rotary Big Read presentation this year, Doug Wood, Nancy McCarthy, and I thought we would lean into the environmental themes of the books, especially given that I Cheerfully Refuse is set on the Great Lakes, and especially given the serendipitous timing of the delisting of Muskegon Lake as an area of concern. So we connected with Rotary's Sustainability Committee, Pete DeBoer is in the house, Andrea Riegler. They connected us to Jill Ryan, who honestly really shares this spirit of all of our Big Read protagonists in being a resistor, right? I would say almost a force of resistance and creativity defines her work over the last several decades. So Jill, she received her bachelor's in biology from GVSU, her master's in zoology from the University of Maine, and her law degree from Case Western Reserve University in Ohio. She has held positions with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and has been the executive director of Freshwater Future since 2000. Her passion focuses on increasing grassroots capacity to protect waters in the Great Lakes region, including assisting with a variety of planning processes, board development, and binational collaborative efforts. She has served on the Healing Our Waters Governance Board and has helped spur the creation of the growing Great Lakes Network and monitors emerging issues in the region. She lives in Muskegon, and she loves paddling and cycling and camping with her family and dogs, so please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, good afternoon. Sarah's a little taller than I am. Well, it's really great to see you all. Thank you for making time to talk with me today. I'm very excited to tell you a little bit about what I do and then relate that to this great book. I hope you're all going to participate. I Cheerfully Refuse is a really interesting read, so I highly recommend it. Could I have the first slide? Thank you. So I'm calling this talk Great Lakes, the Comeback Coast. And part of the reason is because I've spent part of my time the last 15 years securing dollars to restore the areas of concern like Muskegon Lake. And we got over $6 billion to date. And 84 million of that, I understand, was right here on Muskegon Lake. And so I really do think that the Great Lakes is in the middle of a comeback, and so is Muskegon. So it's very exciting. So there are some events coming up. You can scan those QR codes with your phone if you'd like. The Dystopian Deep Dive with MCC is coming up. The author talk that Sarah talked about, November 13th. And then the bar crawl. I think there are there are cards on your tables about the bar crawl, so don't hesitate to participate in that too. So Freshwater Future, I've been working with this organization for 26 years, and I love it because the focus is on the things I love the most. Growing up here in Muskegon, I was always on the lake, either the Big Lake or Muskegon Lake, and I'm a paddler. I love to swim, anything related to water. But This job also really gets me in touch with communities and residents in those communities, and that's what keeps me coming back to this work. Freshwater Future is a binational organization because we cover the entire watershed of the Great Lakes. So most of Ontario plus parts of the 8 Great Lakes states. We've been doing this for 30 years, so before me, this organization was started. And really the goal is to help every community protect their waters in the way they want to. So we don't come in with a clear agenda. We come in when we're asked to come in and help in communities. And we do that in several ways. One is we give out money. We've given over $6 million in 1,500 projects to date. That's a good way to go into a community with some funding. We also help the local groups to build their own capacity. We want them to be good at what you all must know the Great Lakes, I know that. But we can easily forget how special these lakes are when we live on them, grow up on them, take them for granted often. One of the unique things I find about the Great Lakes is because of the water, both Muskegon and other communities across the Great Lakes, we developed really well because the water was available. You could easily move goods, you could use it in production, you could use it for commodities, and that resulted in the 3rd largest economy in the world. Still is the 3rd largest economy in the world. $6 trillion between the Canadian Great Lakes economy and ours on this side. So huge resource, and we want it to remain that. On the other side, of course, there are always things that balance that great stuff out. And so back not that many years ago, we turned our back to the waters, right? We thought of it as the thing to take our wastes away. And so we didn't always take the best care. We didn't know how to take the best care of these resources. And so what we're doing now is bringing them back. We're making up for those years. And one of the quotes from the Leif Enger book is, "As enemies go, despair has every ounce of respect." I remember when Muskegon was in a bit of despair about our water resources. We didn't always have the best. The lake, Muskegon Lake, was a mess, and I fished on it. And I spent every Saturday morning with my mom and grandpa fishing out on the lake. It wasn't the best thing to be eating those fish back then. Things are changing, and so that's really what we want to see. So before you might have heard about our delisting recently, did anyone know what an area of concern was? All right, that's great. That's a high percentage compared to most folks, most crowds. The areas of concern were developed because we had so many toxic spaces in the Great Lakes, and so we started with 42. This shows all of them. I know you can't see the colors, but this shows 42 of the most toxic places in the Great Lakes, and we were one of them. And we're not anymore. And I think that is worth celebrating. We are no longer on the list. So that is extremely it does my heart good, because I've been working on these AOCs for at least 25 years, and it's great to see them come off. And once Muskegon came off, we're down to 23. We're almost at half now. And that is because of those Great Lakes Restoration Initiative dollars that have helped us make those changes. So that's really good stuff. However, we also have to keep a watchful eye. Not everything got perfectly fixed in the cleanup, of course. There's still PFAS in Muskegon Lake. There are still other toxins in Muskegon Lake. They're very hard to get out of water. PFAS is really hard. So we have to keep an eye on those things. Some of them are also still running off from some of our legacy sites. So those are things we have to keep an eye on. We also want to make sure the public has access to the water. If the population can't appreciate and utilize that resource, they will not help us take care of it, of course, because they're kept out of it. So we want to make sure that access stays strong for fishing, for walking along, whatever people want to participate in. Also, we want to keep track of upstream nutrients. We have a lot of rivers that come into Muskegon Lake, and farming, for example, can have a lot of runoff. And so we need to make sure that those things are done in ways that won't damage the progress we're making. There are other pollutants we're going to have to keep an eye on. There's always new ones coming out, so emerging pollutants are an issue. We also are really fortunate in Muskegon because this is a natural port. It's a working port, which is great. I mean, we get a lot of economic activity here because we have a working port that is so well connected to all the other places in the Great Lakes. We do have to make sure, though, that as we dredge, as we do those sorts of activities that are necessary, we're doing them in the best way we can. And then the other thing that happened with the cleanup was a lot of habitat restoration, making sure that we don't just have clean water, but that animals, fish, the bugs that we need, they're all having habitats as well. So all of those things are still for us to steward, and the quota that I chose for this is better is here, stay and make it better. So it's already way better than when I was a kid, but we can continue to move in that trajectory as well. This is almost just because it's my favorite picture. I think this is the coolest view of the lakes from space, and it makes us realize what we are a part of. The lakes to me are not just the definition of where I live, although that's part of it, but they're also spiritual to me. Going down to the water just takes my worries away. There's a whole, because of the size of these lakes. I went to college out in Maine and was on the ocean, and I still miss these lakes. I had to come back. So, you know, I think there are some special things about the lakes you may or may not know, so I'll just share a couple of facts. Over 21% of the fresh surface water in the world is contained in these lakes. That's a lot. That means we have to be really good stewards. We have a responsibility because we live here, I believe. It's also 84% of all the fresh surface water in North America, not just our country, but the other countries as well. So this is a great resource. Also, though, it's a one-time gift. These lakes were carved out by the glaciers, and then the glaciers melted and filled up the lakes. Each year, we get about 1% replenishment through precipitation, snow and rain. 1% goes out through evaporation and out the seaway to the ocean. So these are a really balanced system. Now, there are curves. You've all seen low water levels and high water levels. Those used to happen in about 30-year cycles. They're now down to 6-year cycles, and we're not sure why. So things are changing, but we have to protect them. If we try to export that water elsewhere, we will not have the Great Lakes because they won't be replenished. So that's something I always talk to kids about. These were a gift, and we have to maintain that gift. So to get a little more focused on how water relates to our everyday lives, this is the map that you can get online from the city of Muskegon. Each point represents one connection to the water system in the city of Muskegon. The green ones have no lead in their pipes. The yellow ones don't have lead, but they have something else that holds lead. So they're still bad and have to be replaced. And the red are lead lines or lead connections. In Muskegon, the vast majority need to be replaced. And the city is working on that, which is great. But one of the things we really have to look at is, does everyone know if they don't have a green connection? Probably not. And it's really important that we focus on the folks in town who are the most vulnerable, who may not be able to wait for the city to be able to change these out because they're drinking lead every day. There is no safe level of lead, none, 0 you should have. And I did look at testing results. The most recent testing results from the city are between 0 and 17 parts per billion. The cutoff is 15, and that's about to go down through improved legislation to 12. But 0 is what everybody needs to have at their tap. And so there are some real problems in people's houses. Now, this is not coming from the system. It's not coming from the plant, and the mains have been changed. We might have had mains, lead mains in the past, but they're not now. But those lines that come up to the house, that's what really causes problems. And also, there are lines inside homes that are also lead, and those have to be removed, but they never are part of the process that cities are able to do. So those are all things that we can think about, and how do we help in this process to make sure people know whether they have a lead line. You can do that by putting your address in this mapping tool, which is great. And actually, Hackley Library will be doing a session about lead and water filters later in the month, so that's exciting as well. But it is really important, and one of the things in the book is that, you know, a lot of people were so discouraged, and they didn't have access to all the resources they needed, water being one of them. And we have to make sure that we all have access to this vital resource, and that means both it's safe and that people can afford it. So those are really big things that I like to keep at the forefront of our minds. All right, so this picture of the lake is really helpful. I think I got the one in grayscale because we can't just turn our backs anymore to these great resources. And the quote is, "You can't run away from darkness, it's everywhere. The only way to see through it is to shine a light." And I think that's exactly what Muskegon has done by cleaning up Muskegon Lake, by looking at, making sure they have a map. That map is not a requirement, by the way. At least there's a map, and everybody can look their address up on that map. So Muskegon is doing things to move us forward, but we have to remain hopeful. We have to celebrate the victories, like the delisting of the lake. And we also really need to make sure that we're helping everybody to stay connected to this vital resource. So what can we each do? Just a few things. Participate in those big read activities. I think that is great. I love that the big book is set on Lake Superior, and it wouldn't be that much different than if you were sailing on Lake Michigan. The lakes are very big, and that Lake Superior reference is really very similar, I think, to what we could see in Lake Michigan. The other thing is, tell your family, tell your friends. If they live in the city, look up your water line. Make sure you know what it's made of. And if you have a lead line, the most important thing you can do is to flush. People don't think about this, but to flush your water after you haven't used it for a few hours. If the water hasn't been used for a few hours, run your water cold water for a minute. That will clear the lines from most of that lead. And then we recommend, the second part is, if you have a lead line, use a filter. You can get ones that are in your faucet now, you can get ones that just hook onto the end of the faucet. Those things are so protective, and especially for our kids. If you have young kids in those homes, we want to make sure we're doing that. So spread the word, if you can, about that. We want to make sure there are sources of filters for those who can't afford them too. I don't believe the city provides them, and I don't think the health department provides them because Muskegon is in compliance. They might if the city wasn't in compliance. Also, just get involved in decisions. We've seen a lot of talk around the land swap. That's great. I love hearing that because it means we're all interested. We're vested in it in some way, and hopefully we're finding out real information that can help us talk to our city leaders about what we think should be here. And I think that's a really big piece, is making sure we're all engaged in service organizations like this, but also get involved in those community level decisions. And then finally, like the book says, you need to speak up sometimes when you have to refuse. We have to be able to say, no, this isn't okay with me, and I'm going to do something different. One thing I want to mention, I have about a minute left or less. Today is Imagine a Day Without Water Day. And so what a great day to be making this talk when many people are talking about the fact that in Michigan, actually tens of thousands of people do not have access to water in their home because they can't afford their bill. So those are really important conversations for us to continue. And I just appreciate your time and attention, and I look forward to any questions you might have. Thank you. You bet.
Andrew's got the mic. Questions, please. Pete.
Jill, fantastic job. Thank you for being here. Kind of symbolic, right, with the AOC delisting. How long did that take? When was it first designated?
Oh my gosh, they were designated in the 70s, I believe.
Okay. So big picture for you here, but if you think from now until another 50 years, what's something that's feasible that can be done on the lake that you want to see in those next 50 years? Could be habitat, could be, just something that we could work towards.
Well, that's a great question. I would say I would like to see us figure out how we connect people more with the water. I think the trail that was developed around the lake is amazing. I ride it and walk it all the time. But more things like that, I think, would really be helpful. And also making sure that the fishing areas we have available for people are accessible for ADA and are accessible to people who live along the lake shore. So just really connecting the community back to the lake. The causeway, I know we've heard the studies about how that disconnects the city, the downtown, and I think it also disconnects people. I ride down Marquette and have to cross the causeway to get to the lake. So that's my biggest thing, is really focusing on that connection.
Another question? Jane.
Dr. Ryan, I don't know if you can answer this, but we have a lot of new construction and a lot of infill housing construction. Is it part of the process now to replace those water lines from the main to the house?
That's a great question. And So the law was changed in 1986. If you have a home that was built after 1986, yes, you will not have a lead line. It was illegal after that time. It's the older housing stock that is the problem. And so any new construction would not be a problem. Yep, great question.
Last question?
Hi, thank you. You wove the book and your talk together so well. I live on the Grand River, and I really worry as I see it empty into Lake Michigan. Could you tell me what maybe is being done to help all the things that I see in that river that should not be there?
Well, that's a great point. I think, when I was going to Grand Valley at the Allendale campus, which was mainly the only thing they had, we were doing a study on the salt that went into the Grand River and then dumped into Lake Michigan. Okay, that was a long time ago, 40-plus years. So there are things happening. There are efforts to get the applicators of salt to apply only what is absolutely needed, because our big lakes are actually getting more salty. You can measure that. I also think Grand Rapids has done a great job. So Grand Rapids there used to be a lot of sewer overflows from Grand Rapids, and they went into the river. Those are far better now. The other thing is, there's a group working on the Grand in Grand Rapids to change the structure in downtown, make it more kayakable, make it more friendly for people. And I think that's why I'm so psyched about getting people engaged with their waters, is because when they recreate, when they spend time by them, they will help to figure out how do we prevent all those things we don't want to see. That's just a few things, but I appreciate that you're paying attention to that, and that's really what we have to do. So thank you again. I really appreciate it.
Outstanding. Jill, Speaker's Honorarium this year will be a Muskegon Rotary Club donation for supplies and materials used by our club members and youth from our Interact clubs as they take service trips to El Salvador and Honduras. And just a plug for a group that I've been involved with since I retired, and that's the Muskegon Lake Watershed Partnership, which is the grassroots community-based organization of citizens who have really spearheaded the delisting of the lake from the AOC. So if you're really into this and really want to help, the partnership would love to have your participation. Birthday slide. This week, Jackie Fisher, Chauncey Williams, Mara Dutton, Daniel Hartman, Michelle Lipka, Tiffany DuPont Novak. So this is a good October time to sing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. All of you who have had birthdays or have them coming up, please make a $10 contribution, a birthday gift to Caring Connection. You can do that using the envelopes up here. There's a QR code, and it's also found in the rim each week. Spotlight Video, Rotary in Action this week is Doug Wood. Michael?
Well, I'm Doug Wood. I'm the chair of the Interact Committee, along with John Noling, who's my co-chair. And we're building a team of people. So if there are folks that are interested in working with young people, we would love to have more folks in our committee. Number one, we have a commitment. So when you take a look at, right now we have 5 Interact clubs at the high schools, and we're looking at adding a 6th back this year. We have 2 middle schools that operate Interact, and a 3rd might be coming on this year. We have 3 elementary schools that do Early Act, with the possibility of 2 more coming on this year. So the word is out there. Rotarians provide true role models for our kids. When we walk into a high school meeting, you don't understand the kind of the star power that you might have. That when you're out there in the community doing good work, and then you walk into the high school and say, I want to support your good work, those students really respect that. And what I've seen, the high school students, when they come to our Rotary meetings and they see what we do and who's there, they just feel so, proud to be part of the family. And as we go down to the middle school, they look up to the high school kids and say, I want to do that. I want to be that. And my favorite experience this past year has been watching North Muskegon High School Interact kids, high school kids, go down to the 5th grade and leadership with 5th graders. My job was to stand there and support them and smile when they do good things, talk to them afterwards, give them some ideas. But those kids just love having us there.
If there's one thing that we do that I think really, really well in this club, that is youth leadership development, and with educators who spent a whole career, John and Doug. Let's give them a hand for what they do and their team that they put together as we continue to expand this avenue of service. We're now into inductions. We have 4 of them. Would Dion Stumpo come forward with Greg Borgman, Jeff Dana with Roger Morgenstern, Brock Johnson again with Greg, and Mary Ann Verhill with Michelle Lipka. I guess you're up first, Raj. We'll come one at a time, and please introduce them.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Roger Morgenstern. I'd like to introduce to the club Jeff Dana. Jeff is the founder and co-owner of Float My Biz. Float My Biz helps businesses shine online and in their communities with modern websites, smart automations, and marketing that connects. They build and redesign sites that look great and help your business run smoother with tools like forms, calendars, payments, e-commerce, and custom integrations that keep everything working seamlessly. I think I'm going to hire him even as a retiree. I could use some of this. Float My Biz helps businesses run smoother with smart systems that work quietly in the background. Their automations handle intake, track leads, follow up fast, and keep customers coming back. They never take a day off, continuing to work after hours to capture new leads, send reminders, and build lasting relationships while you focus on what matters most. They are a full-service firm that also manages Google Ads, social media, email, and text campaigns to reach the right people at the right time while boosting visibility through search engine optimization, local listings, and digital signage around town. Beyond the tech, they partner with local organizations, sponsor events, and help businesses grow together. Float My Biz was founded by this guy, Jeff Dana. Jeff's a West Michigan local, was happiest on a sunny golf course or relaxing by the lakeshore, with a simple mission to help small businesses connect, stand out, and thrive. Jeff is a North Muskegon native. He attended the Gow High School and West Virginia Wesleyan College. His dad, Lowell, was a Rotarian, along with my dad, Dick Morgenstern, and our families have known each other for decades. Jeff's a little younger than me, but I remember when he was a very young, yes, anyway. So welcome, Jeff Dana.
Well, I was really happy that Dion gave me ancient eyes text here so I could read this easier. I would like to introduce you to my friend Dion Stumpo. Dion was born in the west suburbs of Chicago, moved to Montague as a child, where he graduated from. Dion went on to college at Lake Superior State University. He is married to his high school sweetheart, Amy. They have 3 children. After college, he worked as a paramedic for 14 years, serving communities in the eastern UP, Sheboygan County, Lake County, and the Montague-Whitehall area for the last 9 years of being a paramedic. During that time, he also studied to get his MBA from Western Governors University in 11 months during COVID, which was a lot of downtime. Wanting to be an entrepreneurial and own his own business to serve the community, Dion launched with Farm Bureau Insurance, and this year has absolutely fallen in love with it. Dion is looking for more ways to get involved in the Muskegon area and have a greater impact. I really believe that Dion will make an absolutely fine Rotarian. Help me welcome again, Dion. See, young people don't know that us older folks have to squint a little harder. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Brock Johnson, a lifelong enthusiast of the Great Lakes marina industry. Originally from Grand Rapids, Brock was drawn to Muskegon, where he now lives while pursuing a degree in business administration at GVSU. Brock's commitment to maritime preservation began early. He served as the Director of Operations for the historic SS Milwaukee Clipper, starting as a volunteer at just age 12. Brock is a dedicated advocate for community service. Currently, Brock is involved with the SS City of Milwaukee, helping restore the former car ferry to glory. Most recently, Brock co-founded the Muskegon Maritime Historical Society, a nonprofit organization focused on safeguarding Muskegon's rich maritime assets, both on land and underwater. He is truly a force for preservation and community involvement. Please welcome Brock Johnson.
Okay, not only are my notes large, but they're double-spaced. So I am extremely pleased to be sponsoring my friend Marianne Bachheim-Verhill for induction into Muskegon Rotary today. Marianne resides with her husband in Cannonsburg Township, which is a suburb of Grand Rapids, but her job brings her to Muskegon every Thursday. She holds degrees from Grand Rapids Community College, Aquinas College, and DePaul University. She has a varied background in the apparel and cosmetic industries, having written for magazines, produced photo shoots and fashion shows, and taught for 10 years at Grand Rapids Community College. She's worked globally as a cosmetic expert with X-Rite Pantone. Wow. Marianne now serves as the volunteer coordinator for Catholic Charities West Michigan, where she works in community outreach and volunteer relations. By becoming a member of the Muskegon Rotary, she seeks to increase awareness of the social service programs offered by Muskegon Catholic Charities West Michigan and foster understanding within the community about these initiatives and the ongoing efforts that support them. Not only does Marianne have the passion to serve others, she has an extremely warm and bubbly personality, all qualities I quickly realized would be a great asset to our club. After attending a meeting as my guest, she promptly submitted her application for membership, and here we stand today. Please join me in welcoming Marianne to Muskegon Rotary.
Okay, if we could have the new members up, and we can have the sponsors off stage or off screen. New members? You're up here, yep. The four of you guys, come on up, make sure, there we are, we're in the photo. This last board meeting, Tuesday, we brought in 6 new members. So we are growing. I thank you for spreading the goodwill, the good name of Rotary throughout our community and bringing new members to us. I think we're going to be hitting close to 260 members here with the next month or so. So there'll be more to come. But today, I welcome all 4 of you. Fellow Rotarians and guests, it's a great privilege today to formally welcome These new members into the Muskegon Rotary Club. Membership in Rotary is not merely joining a club, but becoming part of a global family dedicated to making a positive impact locally and internationally. Rotary International is a family of more than 1.2 million Rotarians in more than 45,000 clubs in over 200 countries in the world. Welcome to Dion, Jeff, Brock, and Mary Ann. You are invited to membership because you embody the spirit of service and high ethical standards Rotary upholds. Your sponsor recognized your potential and introduced you to this organization, which is committed to fostering the ideal of service above self. As a member, you now represent Rotary in our community. Membership involves duties and obligations, including regular attendance and contributions to service and fundraising activities. You will need to join a committee, become involved in the work of this club and of Rotary International. We promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, support education, embrace mothers and children, grow local economies, and protect the environment. Locally, we have a long tradition of developing youth leadership among other avenues of community service. Join us in our work and the joy of fellowship. Do you agree to the obligations of Rotary membership? I formally induct you into the Muskegon Rotary Club. I am providing you with a Rotary pin. Wear it with pride. Also, we have a four-way test and the objects of Rotary. And we actually got their pins. This is good. This is good. There you go. Welcome. Who we got next? Jeff? I ask you to take the gift of Rotary and share it with others, specifically inviting someone with your commitment to community and ethical standards to join the Muskegon Rotary Club in the next 6 months. Will you accept this assignment? Yes. Thank you. At the end of the meeting, please be in the lobby with your sponsor to allow members to welcome you to the club. With that, I ask members and guests of the Muskegon Rotary Club to rise. Welcome the 4 newest Rotarians in the world, Dion Stumpo, Jeff Dana, Brock Johnson, and Mary Ann Verhill. Welcome. Now we can do a group picture down here. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. If you have a brief Muskegon Rotary Club announcement from a club, committee, or event, please come forward at this time. To my right. Or your left. Oh, you're not usually on my left, sir. Do we have the mic ready to go here? Please keep your remarks under 2 minutes. There's a scheduled rewind meeting tonight, 515 Core Plaza at the Vault. Our Board of Directors at its Tuesday meeting received a recommendation from the nominating committee. The board nominates Sarah Rinsbasibiga and Arlen Dean Gotti as co-presidents starting July 1 of 2028. Co-presidency is a new concept for the Muskegon Rotary Club. The club members will be asked to approve a bylaw amendment to allow co-presidency option. More on that in the coming weeks. The board also nominated Kelly DeVos, John Selman to a 2-year term on the board, and Martha Fulbrook to a 3-year term on the board. Members may nominate others and vote at our annual meeting as the slate will be presented December 11th. Thanks to all who have stepped forward to serve the Muskegon Rotary Club. Are any of those candidates in the audience? If you could please stand. Thank you for your service. Save the date, Saturday, May 2nd. Well, it's a ways away. But in the morning on that Saturday, the Muskegon Rotary Club will do a visioning event led by the District 6290 visioning team. More details to come. Remember, the volunteer opportunity for our second microforest is coming Saturday. A work bee at the Muskegon Lake Nature Center on Lake Avenue in North Muskegon. Interactors, Rotaractors, Rotarians will be gathering at the site Saturday, October 18th, 9 a.m. to noon, to put down cardboard and spread wood chips for our second microforest. I am still seeking an assistant sergeant at arms, as Sergeant at Arms Ed Hendrickson continues to be away from the club with health issues. Please see me if you can lead the setup and tear down before and after our Thursday meetings. Roger.
Thank you, President Dave. Now, this is Roger Morgenstern, the co-chair of the Harvest Fest. 1 week from tonight, we will have Harvest Fest here in beautiful downtown Muskegon. And I think Dave will talk a little bit about tickets, but just a reminder, it's from 5 to 8 p.m. at the SIM, the Culinary Institute of Michigan. Many thanks to Dr. Aaron Mikey, who is allowing us to use the facility, and their students will be providing wonderful food. Find more information on our website or in the RIM. There's a QR code there where you can buy tickets. Many thanks to the volunteers. We've got a great group of volunteers signed up, and we have a great list of sponsors that have agreed to step up and help us support this. And thank you to those of you who've bought tickets. But still, there's room for more, aren't there, Dave?
I'm not going to ask you for money, okay, very often. This is my one plea, These folks have put together a great event, a great night. It's supported the Baker College and their students. It's a time that we can mingle, that we can have fellowship, meet some new people in town, and celebrate this great fall that is blessed us here in Muskegon. So I ask you to get forward, and if you can't make it, please buy a ticket and pass it on, or just give a donation. We want to make this, as it is, our largest fundraiser, a successful one for our current foundation. Aaron, is there anything you need to say about? You're next up.
Thanks, Dave. Aaron Bozard here to share with you that the date for our food distribution effort is here. You may recall from my earlier reminders that we, Muskegon Rotary, is sponsoring and hosting a food truck on Wednesday, October 22. So that's next week, Wednesday, the day before our Harvest Fest event. And we've had considerable interest from a number of you, but there's room for additional volunteers. The food truck distribution will be done through Feeding America West Michigan. They are headquartered in Grand Rapids. Locally, the food truck is hosted by the Supper House at Temple Methodist Church in Muskegon Heights. So the event will take place at Temple Methodist Church in their parking lot from 4 to 6 p.m. We need about 15 to 20 volunteers to really make this run smoothly. And like I say, I think we're over halfway with our volunteer count. Temple Methodist, United Methodist Church, if you've not been there, is at 2500 Jefferson Street. It's immediately across the street from Muskegon Heights High School main entrance. Real easy to find. If you're interested, see me afterwards. We'll get your name on the roster, and any questions, I'll float around for a bit.
And it's in the RIM. I will see you there, so we'll hope to do that. Raffle, Eric, where are we at? 052. 052, we got, finally, someone's fessing up in the back. John. Are we going for 10 now, Eric? One, 9, 7. Now for 20. Zero, 9, 4. 0. Now, Suzanne. Alex. Our program next week will be Pioneer Resources. After the bell this year, as we mingle, I will play Jackson's Brown's Loadout Stay in background in honor and appreciation of our meeting crew, Mike, Kim, and those who have helped out Ed here in his absence, along with the staff at the Lake House. Thanks for making our meetings so meaningful. Members and guests, please rise as we recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, let's unite for good. We are adjourned.